Tyler M presents Railfanning in the Fall, Season 2, Episode 2. This is Episode 2 of Railfanning in the Fall, Season 2. You're probably wondering why my camera and my mic seems a little bit different than usual. That's because I got a brand new iPhone 13 Pro Max recently. The rest of the episodes and my future videos will be taken on this phone. My shots could be a little bit shaky because I'm still getting used to this new phone. With that out of the way, let's get started with episode 2 of Railfanning in the Fall. If you haven't seen episode 1 yet, please go ahead and watch it. Where we left off was at the Kingston station after getting 10 trains there. Now let's get started with some more scenic locations. Starting at McCowan Road near Pine Orchard. Mile 38.38 on the Ballot subdivision. The scenery here could be a little bit better. There's not much fall colors around the tracks. Except a few bushes here you can see. There's a lot of trees facing south, but they haven't turned yet. And facing north, same story. If I come back here later on in October or something like that, hopefully there'll be more fall color. Now we came here because I got word about a northbound train heading my way, giving me the chance to test out my new phone. The train I got in is CN X317, going from Thorah to Winnipeg. It was led by 2919 with a really weird sounding K5HL horn. Trailing second is 2850. Trailing third is 5691. And trailing fourth is 8023. A Thundercab SD70M-2. This is actually my first time seeing 8023. The first time was at Elbow Street at Mayabert when it was trailing third on CN M313. And by the way, that was last year. Then the second time was at Pine Orchard also last year when I was reading on Z112. The third time was at Elbow Street last April when it was trailing second on X317. A 4-locomotive train for 88 freight cars. The next afternoon, we went back to the Chapman Street crossing and Holland Landing. My 37.65 on the Newmarket Salt. What does it look like with the fall colors? Well, it looks like this. There's some trees near the tracks, but however the leaves on the trees has not changed yet. Down there is the Yonge Street crossing. There's a little bit of fall color on the other side of the tracks you can see. And near the tracks facing south, there's a little bit you can see. All in all, Chapman Street is not a bad spot. Hopefully there'll be more fall color later on. Now the GO train was heading south from Barrie to Toronto. It was led by MP54 locomotive 673 with a really weird turn, but the engineer did a quick horn salute. And at the end of the train is cab car 338. And it had 10 passenger cars. The next day, we had to go up north to do some things. But I was able to see some trains while we were there. The first train I got in was at the Concession Road 2 crossing near Port Bolster. I actually got word about a heritage unit leading this train, but however I don't know where it is. So we actually went to that crossing, and when we got to the tracks, I actually saw a headlight coming down the tracks. So we were just in time. I will show you what it looks like with the fall colors after this train. Anyway, this is CN Q106, going from Riverbanks, BC to Montreal. It was led by 3069, the Wisconsin Central Heritage Unit. It also has a really epic sounding K5HL horn, and trailing second is 3861. This is actually the first time seeing 3069. The first time was at Mayabert when it was a weird DPU on Q104. And not to mention that we actually chased this train to Snyder West, so I was able to see it for a second time there. The third time was at Lisa Road when it was leading on set 149. .106 has 171 rail cars and 484 axles.
Axle 484. Speed 45.
It's been a while since I last heard a defect detector LOL. With 106 past, it's time to show you what it looks like with a fall color. The scenery here is really not that bad, you can see looking from the north. But once again, most of the leaves hasn't turned here yet, so oh well. But all in all, it's not a bad spot. And this is a mile 59.63 on the ballast up. Now traveling more up north to Brecken and Alderney, you can see there's more fall color coming out. Now you may recognize some spots that I've been to last year. Oh, isn't this the Line 2 crossing in Rathburn? That's right, this is the Line 2 crossing in Rathburn. Mile 82.30 on the ballast up. This crossing has that rare Safe Trend Type 1 e-bell you can see, which is still fair. And what does it look like with the fall colors? Well, they are starting to change, you can see. There's way more fall color than the other crossings that I've been to. But however, some of the leaves here hasn't changed yet, you can see. But this is still a really pretty shot. Of course, I'm not going to add this on the top 5 places to Railfanning this year because I actually added that on last year. And I want this to be a new top 5 places list, not a duplicate list, LOL. Anyways, a while later, a CM worker came over and tested the crossing. Maybe I should call this the invisible train. Yeah, this is kind of like an invisible train, but he tested the crossing to inspect the lights. Anyways, the worker told us that there was a train an hour away. And sure enough, an hour later, along came CN Q101, going from Brampton to Rubber Banks, BC. The Parallel 101 was much more interesting. A DC GFO and an SD75i. It was led by 2304 with a big K5H Elhorn, and trailing second is 5679. 101 has 185 rail cars. And I must say, he was flying. He was still picking up speed near the end of the train. After that, we started to head south. But I got a word from the conductor that another northbound train was at Brecken. So we made a quick stop at the Concession Road 13 crossing in Rathburn. And sure enough, when we got in there, I heard a horn. I will show you what it looks like with the fall colors after this train goes by. The train I got in is CN Q185, going from Montreal to Prince Rupert, BC. It was led by 2839, with a really epic K5 Fitzgerald horn, and the engineer did a shave and a haircut horn show for me. And trailing second is 8806. 185 has 171 rail cars. Now what does it look like with the fall colors? Well, it looks like this. A lot of trees near the tracks, and like the Line 2 crossing, this spot is really quiet. There's also a pond there as well. There's a little bit of fall color you can see, but however most of the leaves haven't turned yet. And this crossing is on mile 80.54 on the ballast sub, 2 miles away from the line 2 crossing. All in all, this is another great spot, but however most of the leaves haven't turned yet. Hopefully it will be prettier later on. That evening, I got word about a heritage unit going on CN M313. It wasn't leading, however, but I still decided to go for it because I was near the tracks. And I wanted to test my phone at night as well. I cannot believe there is 2 heritage units in one day. I know, right? It's really interesting. Maybe I should call this heritage unit madness. Going from Toronto to Winnipeg, CN M313 was led by 2297, with a really interesting first-gen K5HL horn. Trailing second is 2638, and trailing third is 3115, the BCRAIL Heritage Unit. I saw 2297 a lot of times. The last time was at Chicago when it was leading on Q107, but for 3115, this is my 3rd time seeing it. The first time was at Melbourne when it was leading on Q180. Then the second time was at Bloomington Gold Station when it was trailing second on Q105. .313 has 94 freight cars.
Just a heads up, you're going to be getting doubled at Bracken. First train will probably be there before you, and the second train is set on the 112 hot box currently. Well, he's going to Bracken for 2, one guy will probably be there, and the other guy won't be that far. Yeah, that's right. Perfect, yeah, the first guy just went by Sparrow Lake. Okay, thanks for the heads up, 313. Yeah, no problem, Mark.
A few days later, we went to the East Gwillumbury GO station, mile 35.61 on the Newmarket sub. We went there because there was a northbound train at the Newmarket GO station. The scenery here was really colorful. A lot of fall colors around the tracks. All in all, this was another great spot, but there's a much better spot coming up. Now the train was heading from Thorah to Barrie. It was led by cab car 308 with a really nice horn. At the end of the train is 607, and it had 12 passenger cars.
Slips and falls. Be careful and keep alert in and around stations, on stairs and platforms, and reporting. At Go Transit, safety never stops.
Dans les gares et aux alentours, dans les escaliers sur les quais, ainsi que lors de l'embarquement. Ici, à Go Transit, c'est destination sécurité, sans arrêt.
The next day, we took another drive up north. This time, it was much farther than Rathburn. We took a drive to Huntsville, but we took the back routes to get there. During the drive to Huntsville, there's a ton of fall color leaves. It was a really pretty drive to get to Huntsville, you can see. Once we got into Huntsville, I rode on the Portage Flyer. That's where Haynes Jeff works. after doing that, we made a stop at the Newmarket stop. And as you can see, the view is pretty, and a lot of fall color leaves as well. The spot we went to is at the old Huntsville train station, 82 miles from North Bay and 146 miles from Toronto. And this is on mile 146 on the Newmarket stop. There's only 3 trains that run through Huntsville: 450, 451, and L595. Unfortunately, I missed 450 and 451, so I couldn't see them. And L595 wasn't running, but I was able to see the power. That is a loco working around the Huntsville spurs. The locomotive you're seeing is an XGATX GP38-2, that being 3907. It wasn't running, however, but I was able to take a good look at it on the station platform. You can kinda see the old wording when it was a GATX. If it needs to get to Toronto, they will hook it up onto 450 and it will take the Newmarket, Bella, and York stops to get there. You can see a lot of fall color trees around the tracks, and there's an old signal on top of a building as well. There's also an old painting as well, you can see. And you can see a lot of fall color trees between 2 cars. If there wasn't any freight cars in the yard, this would have been a really scenic shot. All in all, Huntsville is a really beautiful place to see some trains, but however there's not much. On the way back, we saw old cab car 255 and 656 at Holland Landing. Well, I really hope you enjoyed episode 2 of Railfanning in the Fall. Stay tuned for episode 3, which is coming out next weekend. Until then, I will see you guys later. Peace out, folks. Hey. Please remember to subscribe to my channel for more epic Railfanning videos coming soon, if you haven't already. Well, as usual, I really hope you enjoyed this epic Railfanning video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. And that will be it as usual.